Now I gotta restart this video. This really has me aggravated, Jay. Like, you just kept calling and kept calling. It wouldn't stop calling. I tried to message, thinking that I could just message and pause the video. And really now I gotta start this video over. And I am kind of aggravated, I'm not gonna lie. So, let me re-show. This is my house. Here's a bunch of my sneakers. Okay, since Boss Down Kicks, this is why I'm Boss Down Kicks. I got a shitload of sneakers, and they're not just any sneakers. As you can see, a lot of the same box. Those are all Jordans, or these are all SB Dunks. Those are Travis Scott's right there. Those sneakers are about $600 sneakers. I'm not bragging. I'm just telling it like it is. These are, when they were dead stock, these were close to $550, $600. When these were dead stock, these were about the same, about $5 something. When these were dead stock, they were about $400, $500. It's about $900. $900 plus $550. About $1,450. So right here is about $2,000 worth of shoes just on the top. So then you got these are SPs. They're a little old. They're Jeff Staple Panda Pigeons. Those dead stock are close to about $800, $900. These are Jordan 3 white cements. About $300. That's another $1,100 dead stock. These right here, these are the gems of everything. These are Jordan 4 Dornbachers. I'm not taking them out of there. There's certain sneakers I really don't try to get air at them. These are $3,000 sneakers. If you don't believe me, look them up. Jordan 4 Dornbachers. Brand new DS. They're size 10s. They're about $3,000 dead stock. So right there we're at about $5,000, $7,000. So right here we're at about $7,000, and we haven't even got into all of this. These are all SB Dunks. Expensive sneakers. These are SB Dunk Tiffany's. When they came out at peak, the SB Dunk Tiffany highs, they were close to around $1,000 at some point. These Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows were at about $1,000. So we got some pretty expensive sneakers here. Those are off-white Nike Air Force 90 Desert Ores. Those peaked at about $800. Same thing with these Jordan 4 Union Jordan 4 Guava Ice. Those peaked at about $800. So we got some. So that's just to give you an idea of what I got going on here and how I collect sneakers and what kind of sneakers I collect. These Jordan 1 Bread Bands 2016s maxed out at about $700. These are Jordan 1 UNCs. These maxed out at about $800. These are Jordan 1 Unions. These are about $400, $500 sneakers. These Jordan 1 Nigel Brick by Brick are about $600 sneakers. But I'm not gonna go through all of them. They're all expensive sneakers. These were $1,000 sneakers when they peaked. The Jordan 3 Almamineers. So that's why I'm Boss Town Kicks. I'm a sneaker collector. I'm a sneakerhead, sneaker wearer, and I love sneakers. We got Jordan 4 Black Cats. They're all expensive sneakers. So that's the reason why they call me Boss Town Kicks. I call myself Boss Town Kicks. I'm a sneaker collector. I got about 100 pairs. Each and every pair are worth more than what the retail was. So I'm going to talk about a story I thought of. I'm all discombobulated now because it kind of aggravate me. But Jay he means well. He's in Charlestown. He wanted to meet. He knows I don't live in Charlestown. People are crazy. They think just because we're from there. He knows I live in Malden, which is just crazy. He has mentioned it, that he lives in Medford. We should meet because Medford and Malden's right next to each other. This Gap hoodie, my wife got it for me because Gap hoodies were not just a fad, it was a thing. Kids from Charlestown, we all wore Gap hoodies on the corner. In the 90's, we liked, it wasn't just a thing, a following thing. They weren't just in. We liked Gap hoodies. You know what I mean? It's just like the same thing with shell toes. That's what we liked. You know what I mean? That's what everybody liked, and that's what we did. We wore shell toes. We wore gazelles. We were plain. You know what I mean? We weren't flashy kids. We were neighborhood kids from the city, and that's what we did. So back in the 90's, you would catch everybody with some kind of Gap hoodie on. So my friends, the Canes, their house was a great spot to fucking party in. It really was. And I know I remember very well that my friend Pat Kane, good friend, he's doing very well now, sober. He had this same exact hoodie just like I did. And I don't think he knows, but I stole his. I had to steal his Gap hoodie, which was a little too big for me. He was a heavier set kid. I had to steal his because when you went to the Kane household, if you took an article of clothing off, that house was an abyss. They had a dog named Bubba, and Bubba would shed over everything. And if you took an article of clothing off and you would say it, don't take that off. If you fucking put that down and you walk away from it, it's gone. And it would. I would lose so much clothes in that house. But it's not like you'd see someone wearing it. That shit would just go missing. I think Bubba would eat it. So, but anyways, it would get ruined anyways. Bubba would shed so much that you would never be able to get Bubba's fucking white hair off your clothes ever, no matter what you did. But I had some of the best nights of my life in the Kane's house. And I remember one night in particular, my friend David Brady, one of my closest friends, he had a friend named Jake. Now Jake was a serious cockblock. And I remember one night, Jake came. Jake went to college with David, and he kept coming in. He kept fucking coming in the room and kept doing his cock block thing, and I'm like, Jake, what the fuck are you doing? And I took my sweatshirt off. And I remember that night, it was a good night, right? He can only cock block so much, and I wanted to rip his head off. And like, I was so fucked up this night. And there was so many other nights that I was fucked up, and I know I definitely did shit in that house I shouldn't have done. That got me in a lot of trouble with other females. Like, that house just really made me, like, turn me into a nightmare of a person. Like, I made bad decisions in that house. I remember one night I showed up. The whole family was up. Jerry, Big Jimmy, Young Jimmy, and Pat. They were watching a Evander Holyfield Tyson fight. And I was on Quaaludes. And I couldn't go home. I was just too fucked up. And I don't think I remembered how to get home. I was so fucked up. And I was just like peeking in their window. And they'll remember this night. And I was just like, annihilated beyond. This is when Quaaludes were around in the 90's for a short time. Somebody from Charlestown did a score in the 70's and ended up getting pinched and buried thousands of Quaaludes. And when they got out of prison, unburied these Quaaludes, these lemon, I forget the numbers on them, but they were white and yellow lemons, and there were Quaaludes around, and I think 96 and 97, and it was like the best time ever. So like kids my age got to enjoy Quaaludes, right? We were the only kids that were born in the 80's that got to say that we ate Quaaludes for a whole summer. And you know, the Canes were very receptive and knew that I was just a mess and let me in that night. Because I was just a fucking mess. They let me in. The rest was a blackout. But this particular night, I had my Gap hoodie. And I took it off, which was a big mistake because I knew I would never see it again. And I remember waking up as hungover as hungover gets, right? I drank all night. I did coke. I definitely smoked some dust and ate some beans. And I woke up and I seen Pat's fucking Gap hoodie. And I'm like, you know what? That's mine. I gotta take it. My Gap hoodie. My favorite Gap hoodie. I took off and I cannot find it. I looked all over the house. And then I seen fucking Bubba just looking at me. Bubba staring at me like, yep, I got you, motherfucker. You knew better. You should have knew better than to take off that Gap hoodie. You knew you were never going to see it again. So, Pat, this is me making amends. Do you remember that Gap hoodie? Do you remember this Gap hoodie you had? Roseanne? Why am I forgetting you fucking... Roseanne? We'll remember it. She remembers this Gap hoodie. I'm sure you got pictures of it. This isn't the same one. But I took it that night because I lost my favorite Gap hoodie. And I lost so much clothes in your house that Bubba devoured. He would wait till everyone fell asleep. And that big ass husky, or whatever he was, would eat everyone's clothes. And then shed all over the house. God knows what else that dog did to me in my sleep when I was in blackouts. Because I spent so many blackouts at the Canes' house. So I just wanted to make kind of like a tribute video to the Canes household and the nights that I had at the Canes household. And the nights that I took refuge in the Canes household when I was unable to find my way home, unable to walk. You can laugh about it now, but at the time, I'm sure, like, people were worried. I was young. I was 16, 15, and I was already a full-blown drug addict. As bad, like, almost as it gets. You know, I wasn't on heroin yet, but I was a pig for drugs. You know, I would consume as many, and I would like get lucky, like not lucky in the fact like every night I'd be like, wow, like how did I consume? I would always end up in the right place at the right time and be able to run into situations where I was able to consume as many drugs as possible, like run into people that were smoking dust, older kids, and run into someone who had beans, and then run into like older guys that were fucking yeah, you want to do a couple lines, and then always run into situations where like I was a young kid, but I was always with people I probably shouldn't have been with, and somehow I would end up at the Canes later in that night when I was definitely not capable of making it home. And even Jerry, even the mother, Jerry, she never once turned me away. You know, I'll give her that. I don't think she was the biggest fan of me, because she would never talk to me much, but she never once would say, Jimmy or Pat, like, no, he can't come in. And I'll never forget that, to be honest with you. And it's funny how this hoodie reminds me of that, but it reminds me of people that took me in when I definitely was in a bad situation. But thank you for listening. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Please engage. Bye.